Hey you guys, it's your girl Jay from the Berg, and this is my channel, Eating with J.I. Hey, how you doing? Good, I hope. As you can see, I got some noodles, noodles, and oodles. Yay! Yes, you guys. So I'm finna I had to come at y'all early with a lunch mukbang, and I also have a nice little salad. I had got a pre-made salad from Publix yesterday when I went grocery shopping. $2.93, and I added the chicken on it. This was just a regular garden salad, but it was filled with bell peppers, grape tomatoes, and little radishes, and just full of vegetables like I like it. So yeah, I got that, and I topped it with my favorite dressing, avocado ranch dressing, baby, yeah. So yes, and then I got more. I got more of the blackberry tea. So yes, get in here, y'all. Let me say my grace before I forget. God is good. God is great. Thank you for this food, Lord. Thank you for me being able to provide for myself, to be able to eat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please continue to bless this food. Bless the hands that prepared it. Bless the hands that prepared that salad. Please let it be an abundant, a magnetic force for financial abundance as it enters my body. Amen. Okay. Hot. So good. So good. So y'all remember Gary, right? Not that Gary. Your people now. Gary. Down there in Washington, up there. Gary Leon Ridgway. Who killed all them people, child? Yes, he had killed all them damn women. Over 48, 49, damn near 50 people he killed. Starting back from the late 80s. Starting back from the late 80s, he killed all them people, all them women. It was in a part of a town where that they dubbed the Strip, and the police lady had said that it was, you know, like a very transient part of town. Like they had a whole bunch of titty bars and stuff like that. Let me put this back here so I can not have to worry about it getting in my way while I'm eating. So it's a whole bunch of topless bars, hotels that you can rent rooms for by the hour, a whole bunch of like prostituting going on, things like that. That's what that area had consisted of. Just kind of like a trashy part of town. I hate to say, but that's what it was. That's what people would consider it as. And he would go around killing people. He went around engaging in prostitution. And, you know, before long, people just start dropping off. And people would start filing missing persons reports on these people. And not even the fact that, you know, missing person reports, eventually these people would start to pop up. They found one lady, her name was Marsha. And Marsha was very important to the case because they found DNA on him on her that they were later able to say, oh, this is him. But before that, the DNA was not, they didn't know who the DNA belonged to. Excuse me, burping already. You know that a lot of, early on, they didn't have a lot of advancements in DNA. So, they have a lot of advancements in DNA. So women ended up found, he was originally, the first 4 or 5 victims he dumped in the Green River. So the press dubbed him the what? Green River Killer. This one lady was found, the current brung her body up, and they found like it was just like her hand popped up out the ocean like and was waving with the current like, hey, here I go, help me. You know, they found her, not to make light of the situation, but this is what was reported. You know, like her hand was waving back and forth with the current. Numerous times throughout the investigation, they continued to pull Gary in for questioning. He even passed a polygraph test. This was in the late 80s. So later on, they found that he frequented the area, he admitted to prostituting and things like that. One woman even, later on down the line, not very much later, even had called and reported, you know, this guy strangled me and, you know, whatever, tried to kill me. So they pulled him back into questioning. They pulled him back into questioning. I ain't pouring no juice, y'all. Let me focus on my salad for a little bit, and then I'll bring the noodles back. I can barely fit them both up here. They pulled him back into questioning. He said, yeah, I strangled her for about 10 or 15 seconds after she bit me or, you know, tried to rob me, whatever. And I'm going to leave a link to all the information, and you can it's so good. Something as simple as salad. Salad used to be considered the poor man's meal. Did you know that? Now a salad, you can spend $30 on salad. Whole bunch of bell peppers and stuff. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Where was I? So he said, yeah, I strangled the bitch. Excuse my language. I strangled her after she, you know, bit me or whatever. Or, you know, whatever. So they just took it down as information and let him go. Who is Gary Ridgway? might you wonder. Gary Ridgway was the middle of 3 boys. Grew up with his father who drove buses. And his mom, who was kind of a stay-at-home mom, worked part-time at like a J.C. Penney's or something, like a department store. Only thing I'm missing is boiled eggs. Work part-time, you know. They said that the mother always dressed really provocative, like tight short shorts, low cleavage type, you know, tops and stuff like that. Which later Gary said that he often was sexually confused about his mother. Because he also wet the bed until his late teens. Well, I ain't gonna say late teens, but well into his teenage years. And every time, it was stated from him, every time he would wet the bed, she would make him get in the bathtub and she would wash his genitals in the bathtub. And he said one time her top she had on a robe and nothing underneath, and the robe came undone. Like, who does that? But also, these are his recollections. Nobody ever refuted it. I don't know where his family was, or, you know, at this time, you know, the mom and dad could have been dead, but he did have 2 other siblings. Nobody ever refuted it that I have seen to come up with. So he's saying that one time her robe came undone and he saw her naked body, and he became aroused by it. Now, could that have been the reason to spark his sexual perversions? Who knows? But back to his dad, who also, you know, he was a bus driver. He also had a perversion with prostitutes. He always used to talk about the prostitutes, and you know, it was reported that one time Gary took Gary on his bus route, and as he was driving down the strip, the same strip that Gary didn't grow up too far from, also where he found his victims, at when he was little. His dad took him on a bus ride when he drove city buses, and he was like, "Look at the prostitutes, look at her, they're filthy." And in the same instance, he also said that he remembered his dad having him wait in the car when he would go and see prostitutes. So Gary grew up to also despise but use services from prostitutes. Seemed like he had both sides was kind of twisted. But it seems as if his dad had more to do with the outcome of Gary than his mom did. Not picking sides. But, and again, this is all reported from Gary. This is what he was telling officers. I need to get some in my cup. So yes, Gary got married a few times. His first wife was shortly after high school with somebody he dated in high school. He ended up going to the military, getting honorably discharged from the military. I think it was an injury. I can't remember. That's why I started not to do it, because I haven't did murder and mukbangs in a while, because it's so much information. And you just want to be 100% accurate in where I'm getting my information from. And I would also like to be able to get first-hand documents, but I don't know how to do that. So, anywho, he ended up getting married, came back from the war. Shortly after, his wife left him for another man. She became interested in somebody else. She also began, before they divorced, she was working at a topless bar. You know, she was like a very, from the picture that was painted, it painted her as a promiscuous woman. But all of Gary's wives stated that he could have sex 5 and 6 times a day. He had a very strong sexual appetite. He liked to have sex in public places, things of that nature. His second wife stated that before they divorced, she couldn't keep up with it, and she grew, like, she was kind of turned off by it. Later, it was found that a lot of the public places that he took her to, I'm gonna eat a little bit more of this and I'm gonna get back to my noodles. He took her to, whoop! What happened, y'all? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all still up? Hey, there we go. Sorry, y'all. So, a lot of the places he took her to were actually the drop points from where he dropped those bodies. He dropped a lot of bodies in certain different places. Not, after he could no longer drop them in the rivers anymore because the police began privy to that. He started dropping them in in very non-disclosed locations, like, and that's probably the wrong wording to use, but he would drop them like off in like forest areas, very wooded areas. It was also a couple of places like there was like a dump site in that same part of town where people would just go and dump shit. Like they went and dumped like a whole bunch of furnitures, and even still to that day when they were reporting it, it was a lot of like old sofas and refrigerators and stuff that was dumped out there. Like that's what people use that area as. Gary used it as dumping bodies. He treated his victims as if they were trash. He was very like disconnected with them. They were just, and that's what a lot of serial killers do. You're not really a person. So Ted Bundy, did y'all know, fun fact, Ted Bundy ended up giving the police a little bit of useful information, and they stated that some of the information they didn't feel was very useful. He was admitting a lot of the own stuff that he had did and projecting it onto Gary Ridgway's case. But he did tell them something that he said that this man, they said, go back to the places that you found the bodies at, because he goes back there and he visits the places. That was true. He not only did he go back there, he had several bodies that he was like up over that hill there. They showed him talking, and they was to the police, and where he was showing them the bodies, where he dumped the bodies. He's like, yeah, I dumped about 5 or 6 of them over there, over that hill, and stuff like that. He's just talking regular, just like how I'm talking now. And he did also go back there, and not only did he do that, he did another thing that Ted Bundy said he did, which was continue to have sex with the bodies after they had died. And he said he stopped after, the flies and the maggots and stuff started attacking the bodies because it was no longer sexy to him. Like, and it was like, the police, when they met him, it was like, this is the guy? Because they just found it so peculiar that, like, he just looked like a regular guy. He wasn't in there like, huffing and puffing. He was just in there talking regular. Like, he hadn't just killed all those women. And they stated that if you did not know what he had done, you would like the guy. Because he just seemed like, somebody you can hold a conversation with on the bus. And child, that brought me to something. How about, I was living in Texas. And it was a guy from Louisiana, because when I lived in Texas, it was a lot of people came down there, and this is nothing against the people from Louisiana, because it was just a crazy person from Louisiana. They have crazy people everywhere. Side note from this Gary Ridgway stuff. So the guy, we was on the bus just talking regular and stuff. You know how you sometimes are drum up conversations on the bus with people. Just talking regular. A week later, I read the newspaper, find out about a little girl that was raped at an daycare. And then they showed the boy a picture. It was the guy that I was talking to on the bus. And I'm like, I had no idea this nigga was crazy. Like, you a nasty, sick, perverted MFer. Because you sitting up here raping little children. That little girl had been penetrated. She was very young, like 2. She wasn't no older than 4. Very young. And I can't remember a lot of what they said about the dude's past and everything. A lot of the stuff was not put in the newspaper to protect the little girl. But I also remember, like, a lot of people had escaped from Louisiana because of, like, Hurricane Katrina and things that was happening. And maybe, maybe people got misplaced because, jail, like, their jail records didn't follow them because they kind of just, like, fled town. It was chaos going on during Hurricane Katrina for them people. And I think some bad people had got misplaced because of it. But that's what goes to show. And I be so scared talking to people. I already be scared talking to men because you just never know. Like, you could be asking me what my favorite colors is. If you don't ask me too many questions. Because I don't know if you trying to get to know me, or if you trying to figure out my security questions and pick my credit or something. I don't know what you're trying to do. I get very paranoid. Don't be asking me stuff. Shit. Dude asked me what my favorite color was. I was like, pink. I lied my ass off. Don't worry about it. People be lying. But anywho, back to Gary Ridgway, because we don't know how long we have, ladies and gents. And hello to my new subscribers. Hello to my new subscribers. Hey, what's up? What's up? What up? What's up? What's up? Hey, yes, to my new subscribers. So, back to Gary Ridgway, y'all crazy uncle. They ended up catching him, and for a while the killings had stopped. So the police was like, well, did he either died or went to jail on another charge, or whatever. Because serial killers just rarely just stop. Gary fell in love, y'all. He found a woman. He fell in love for like 13 years. And then they finally caught his ass. And the lady, his new wife, stated that, you know, when he left and went to work, what he did was completely different from what he showed at home when he would commit these crimes. Because she had no idea. No idea. He just seemed, you know, regular, loving, always had a smile on his face. He never, you know, again, that persona. You have to be so careful. You have to be very careful with people. That's why, you know, I'm going to push buttons. I'm going to find out what your weaknesses and your strengths are. But that type of stuff, do you really think you will ever know what a person does? You know what I'm saying? If they're hiding stuff like that. Because normal people don't think like that. We don't have that type of psyche. So, you know, they ended up catching Gary Ridgway. Early 2000s. They ended up catching him. And at first he lied and he lied and he lied. He was supposed to come back in later on, like earlier. He was supposed to do another polygraph. He said, then he changed his mind, said he had got canceled, and they told him not to do it. It just, what infuriates me is, and a lot of the sex workers around that area was stating that, you know, the police, and you hear it all the time when people are going after, you know, invulnerable people and stuff. They don't really care about us because we're prostitutes and stuff. You know, and that's what they felt like, you know, nobody cares about us around here. That's why they never found the guy. It took so many years for them to find Gary when he kept popping up on their radar. They should have been found that man. So, and even not only that, I didn't tell y'all when one of the third or fourth victims went missing. It was a young girl. Her and her boyfriend had got into an argument at a diner. He went to go use the bathroom or use the phone or something. He came back out. He sees she got into a car with somebody, with a truck with somebody. It was Gary. He follows Gary and loses him when he get off on another part of the highway. So he goes back, get the girl's family member. They search the area. They find that truck until they said a modest house. So, you know, a poor, I guess it was, you know, he was poor. So by this time, Gary was working as a truck painter. So they find it. They had the police come. They questioned. Gary said, no, there's nobody here but me. The police leave it as that. Several times they had their man. But what I guess, you know, in that instance, what can you do? But can you imagine? And instead of Gary being like, oh man, that was a close one, I better stop. He keep going. He killed almost 50 people. He pled out to 49. And he said, I just can't remember. I can't remember all of them. Like that when they kept pressing him, He's gonna do, well, you're just gonna have to be upset because I can't remember. Like he was mad. He said he couldn't remember all the people he killed. That's how many people he killed. And he would often take his wife back to those places. He liked to have sex in those places where he kept the women bodies. Sicko. So they ended up finding him. I believe to this day he is still in jail. And the part when you go to court, your victims' families get to come and say their piece at your sentencing. Everybody got there and told him how much of a monster he was. And then this one girl, her dad came up there and said, and this I'm going to tell Michael, Daddy, if somebody ever killed me, do not go to court and say you forgive him because God told you to do that. No, you better be like Samuel L. Jackson and be like, yes, I killed them. They deserve to die. They should burn in hell. Don't tell them you forgive them for taking me from my children and killing me. And he got up there and he was like, you know, I forgive you because it's the right thing to do. I'm going to pray for you. And I hope that you, blase squaze, find Jesus, all that mumbo jumbo. No. I hope that he gets raped repeatedly in jail. If he ain't already dead, I hope that he die a slow, nasty death. Because 50 women, and he didn't pick the street smart women. He picked the women that were, excuse my burp. He picked the women that were vulnerable, like teenagers and young, easy prey. Them the ones he picked to do what he did. I don't say, wouldn't that be funny if I slurp all of that one up and that's the whole bowl of noodles, like in the cartoons. But that's the end of murder and mukbangs for the day, y'all. That's why I haven't did it in a while, because it's just so much information. I be wanting to come with the right information. I be wanting to be as accurate and detailed as possible. But I'm going to leave the link so y'all can look it up and decide for yourselves. Sorry my camera failed yet again. Y'all came in here drunk, falling down. I told y'all about that. I really don't know what to say. That was murder and mukbangs. Have you guys heard of Gary Ridgway? If so, leave down in the comments what you've heard about him briefly, if you would. If you come this far, please like, subscribe if you have not already. I'm really trying to get my subscribers up, trying to bring y'all content worthy of subscription. And just, yeah, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. And remember to smile, because there is so much to smile about. And I'm just going to keep eating, no talking. Hopefully I can take a quick little cat nap before work, because I probably won't get off until about 10 o'clock. I'm going to try to catch a cab or catch a lift home tonight. Goody goody.